Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. I am Karen Alford, and I'm the UFT's Vice President for the elementary schools. And I am thrilled to have you join us today. I can only imagine how tired you are right about now, because that's how the first year goes. And some of the second year, and I think we have some folks on with us who are also third year folks, but we've never experienced a year like this. So welcome, thank you for joining our ranks. Our children need you, our union needs you. And I just want to tell you just a tad bit about myself. I am a soon to be 30-year educator, and I can still remember my first day as if it were yesterday. I remember what I wore. I remember not being able to sleep the night before. And I remember thinking, oh my goodness, what did I get myself into as an elementary teacher in Ocean Hill, Brownsville? And I did not go to college to become a teacher. And so I was literally making the plane and flying it all at the same time. And I have to tell you, there were days when I thought, I'm not sure that I can do this. And then there would be this aha moment. And that student who had been struggling with a concept got it. Or that parent would call me up and say, you know, Miss Alford, thank you. Or that child would come to me with the biggest hug because he or she finally got that sight word that had been troubling them for weeks. And it was those moments that made me say, okay, I'll do another day. And another day has turned into 30 years. And it's been such a fulfilling career. And my students have given more to me than I think I ever could have given to them. And I certainly hope that if you stay with this long enough, you too will have that aha moments. You too will have all of those just incredible moments that keep you connected and really reaffirm for you why you chose this job, why you chose New York City, why you chose our kids, and why you've chosen our union. And so with that said, I would love for you to hear greetings and some remarks from the United Federation of Teachers President, Michael Mulgrew. Michael, I'm going to turn it over to you. And hey, Michael, what was your first day or week like? Do you remember?
Yeah, my first official day full time, I showed up at school and they told me to go home because the school was closed because of asbestos. They closed the school system for 7 days because of asbestos. And I was shocked. I was like, all right, I guess I'm out of work again. But it turns out because we're in a union, that was not, I actually got paid for those 7 days. So I remember that very clearly. And then of course, the first year of teaching is something nobody ever forgets. Nobody ever forget. And all the teachers all the folks who are on right now, think of your first year. Oh, my first year was during a pandemic. I mean, it's crazy what we're all dealing with right now, but I can't even imagine what you're thinking, right? I'm starting teaching in a pandemic, or I've been, even if you're one of the third year teachers, your first year teaching, you actually, in March, we had to fight to close the school system down. And the mayor was trying to keep it open. And then last year, it was either you were in person with all the strict protocols, you were remote. And now this year, we're dealing with what I consider to be probably the toughest year that we've ever faced as a union, because there's a lot going on inside of our schools right now. It's just, it's absolutely crazy at times, but at the same time, it's up to us to keep our schools moving, even though we're really dealing with some quite large, unprecedented challenges. So again, thank you for Karen, and thank you for everybody on our new teacher committee. The thing is this: it's a huge step in someone's life to say, I want to dedicate my life, go into a profession where I'm going to help children. Now, I made that decision. I came from private industry. I did not have a teaching degree. I have an English lit degree. And I'm also now a certified special education teacher. But I really did not think I was going to stay in this profession. Quite honestly, I thought I would do 3 to 5 years at most. But as Karen said, and as many of you have already experienced or will experience this year, what happens is that that dedication and passion that you're bringing into this profession, that motivation, you will start to see that you connect. And as you connect with your students, you connect with your kids, because you start calling them, these are my kids. That's what happens. You start making a difference in their lives. And then all of a sudden you start getting this intrinsic reward into your own soul that makes this what I consider to be one of the most beautiful professions on this planet. But at the same time, we can't sugarcoat the fact that it's really a difficult profession. Um, I remember when I had to go back, because as I said, I came in at a time where I could walk in with an English literature degree with no education credits. I came in under a different certification title. And as I was going back and taking all of my teacher classes and designing lesson plans and all of these other things, and I realized, yes, some of it's helpful, but it's really not valid to what I'm trying to do inside of the classroom. And I would get frustrated about, like, this doesn't really meet what I thought was going to be happening inside of here in my classroom or my school. And that's why, over the last 2 decades, this union has gone out of its way to really center everything about what goes on inside of the classroom. Because that's where it all happens, in the classroom, in the school. Whether you're a guidance counselor doing counseling, or a therapist, or a paraprofessional, or a secretary keeping people on track and making a school run, or the teacher in the classroom. Everything happens inside of that building. And as a teacher, this is one of the reasons I later, after teaching for quite some time, became involved with the union, because I was so frustrated about all of these things I would hear about in the news and in the media, and pieces of all this crazy legislation that's always out there about education. And I said, it's not relevant to what we're trying to do inside of a classroom. And that's been what has driven me and our union for the last couple of decades, to really make it all relevant about inside of the classroom or the school building. And you're going to have a lot of fun times, but this is a tough year. As I started, we knew we were going to be faced with challenges: social emotional crisis with children, children coming back, all sorts of behavioral issues. And guess what? They have kept up everything that we thought was coming back. And sadly to say, at the same time, we're at the end of an administration. This mayor is leaving. So he's treating these last couple of months, or the first couple of months of our school year, as a way to just constantly make do press conferences and make proclamations about doing all of this academic screening, social emotional screening, special education recovery. When all of that stuff was planned, that was supposed to happen throughout this entire school year, never all at one time. And that's why right now we're involved in a whole bunch of what's known as impact bargaining. In other words, the employer has done certain things in a way to cause a burden upon us. So we have to go in for impact bargaining and try to figure out how to get either more time or compensation for you. And that's really, sad, because we shouldn't have been in this position. And once again, it's somebody else playing politics with the school system. We knew we were going to have challenges. There's no way around it. Last year, less than basically 30% of our students came to school. That means everyone comes back this year. Of course, we knew, as I said, crisis was going to be involved, social emotional crisis, but the behavioral issues were going to be there. Students, majority of our students hadn't been in a classroom in 18 months. And how this pandemic has affected them, their own behavior, their own, socialization with their friends, all of this was going to have a plan in place and really dealt with. But instead, what we've done is rush right now. Because, as I said, this May is leaving. Whatever he wants to do in the future, that's his business. But I'll fight with anyone who tries to use the school system for their own benefits. And that's what's going on with that. But let's just put that aside, because that's almost over. And for you brand new teachers, I know right now it's a Tuesday afternoon. It's really tough. It's not going out. I can't sit here and try to make it something. It's not going to get easier. It's going to get more difficult, but you're going to actually start finding things out. You're going to start hitting spots. You're going to start finding things in yourself and different new skill sets you're going to develop, and you're going to start seeing you can develop. But I want you to remember this: you are not in this profession alone. the 30 years ago, when you came into this profession, they would hand you a bathroom key and tell you good luck. We don't do that anymore. That's why we have this. That's why we have a new teacher committee. That's why we do all of these programs. We want you to be communicating with us. We know how tough it is. I don't want you to do what my first year teaching, I thought I had everything figured out. I walked into a classroom. By Halloween, I was in pretty rough shape. By Thanksgiving, I was drinking every Friday just to get through the weekend. It was not healthy. These are not healthy things to do. And we don't want you to have to do those type of things. You're stronger than I am. But it's really about when I started talking to my colleagues and actually asking for help and visiting my different people in my school building, I started visiting their classrooms. And I really started to see that I did have skills. I just needed to be exposed to different people doing things differently. And that's really helped me develop the skill set I needed to become a better teacher. And it worked. And that can happen for every single person. Some of you are probably way ahead where I was when I first started teaching, but everyone can get better because I make jokes about this. I've never taught a lesson plan the way it was designed. I haven't met anyone who's ever taught a lesson plan the way it was designed. And if they did, I got to question it because that is the joy and the creativity of teaching is when you're doing that interaction inside of that lesson and things are breaking down and you pivot. And you pivot because you can see that a certain section of the class is wandering off. You could see another section is struggling. And all of a sudden that idea clicks and you engage them. You engage everyone. And then all of a sudden they light up and they understand what you're trying to teach them. That's the creativity of this. And to me, I've always said this, it's an art form when we do this and we do it at a high level. And we all have that capability. We just need to be able to share with each other and be there for each other. So I don't want to take up too much of your time. We will get through this year, okay? And then the challenge, because you are in New York City public school teachers, New York City public school staff, the people who work in the schools in New York City, the entire country looks at us. And we know there's going to be a lot of fights about public education going at. It's digital classrooms. How do we use these things going forward? What do we do from the pandemic? You're going to be hearing about all sorts of different challenges and programs. Politicians will jump on. It's got to be us who lead these fights. And the fights are simple. The fight is we want the support. We want the funding. And we want to be there as part of a school community to make our children have a chance at a really good life. And that's what we're dedicating our lives to make that happen for these children. And that's really our fight at all times. So again, I want to thank Karen and her committee. And I just want to say to all of you, it's a great profession. And I know it's a tough year to begin teaching, or a tough first 3 years of teaching, but we will see better days and we will take this to a place where there's going to be a lot of opportunities to do things that teachers could not have done before, but we have to do it with the right frame of mind, which is always, how does it help us help kids? So thank you all so much and God bless. And remember, you're not in this alone. We're all there for each other.
Thank you so much, Michael. Thank you.
Thank you.
So you all have heard from the president of the United Federation of Teachers, and that man is out there doing battle all the time for us, because our mantra is teachers want what students need. And so we wanted to spend some time with you today so that you could hear from some of our departments. And believe me, there is so many more departments in the UFT, but we wanted to highlight a few of them as new members. And please forgive us. We tend to all say teachers, but know that we're talking to our paraprofessionals, our social workers, our guidance counselors, and all of the numerous titles that fall under the UFT banner. So just keep that in mind. So I am going to bring Mary Vaccaro on. And so Mary, I needed the Teacher Center when I started teaching. And Mary is going to give you all some information about our UFT Teacher Center. And Mary Vaccaro is the UFT Vice President for Education. And Mary, I have to tell you, When I started, I walked in with my bachelor's and I still had to get my master's. I still had to get my 30 above because those are things that we must do if we want to hit top salary. And I didn't know where to turn. And the teacher center was there for me. I was fortunate enough to have a specialist in my school, but so that was fantastic. But some of my friends didn't. But I certainly used a teacher center also to go back to school to work on my master's and to get, and to get my 30 above. So I would love if you could share some information to all of our new members, some of which may range from paraprofessionals through guidance counselors to teachers to social workers, and just shed some insight and some light on what our UFT Teacher Center does.
Thanks, Karen. So I am excited to be here. I know I can say this, Karen, I feel like we just started and 26 years later, here I am. But I was fortunate enough as well to have a teacher center in my building where I taught my first year. And Lois Montgomery, who was the teacher center person, and later Rita Danis, they taught us and we took advantage of all of the opportunities that Teacher Center had. So what is Teacher Center? Teacher Center is the professional arm of the UFT. It's there to provide any kind of training that you might need, workshops, courses, obviously for your 30 above, absolutely we have all of that. And now we've teamed up with, and have for many years, teamed up with many universities around the city. We're starting some new partnerships that there's going to be some emails that you'll be receiving shortly if you're interested in going for special ed or bilingual education. And we're going to partner up with those schools in order to get a discounted rate at universities and colleges so that you can continue your education. But Teacher Center and Learn UFT, sometimes you'll hear them used synonymously. They're not exactly the same. Teacher Center provides courses and workshops through all over the city and in schools individually. Learn UFT are those workshops that are held at your borough office. Right now, they're being held by Zoom, so you can jump onto any one across the entire city. Our courses range from management, lesson planning, all of the things that you need as a new teacher. We also have workshops for our paraprofessionals on how to work with students in behavior management, how to look at IEPs. We're working on more of that kind of work in terms of substitute teachers, if there are any on here, guidance counselors, OTs, PTs, whatever the member is, we have a workshop for you that the Teacher Center has been running. And we're trying to expand those workshops and expand our sites across the city. There will be a workshop that you're going to be receiving shortly, and I encourage all of you to hop onto that one. It's going to be the digital classroom and how to enhance our use of the digital classroom. Many of you are just out of college and you use digital classrooms in your own learning last year as you were before you graduated. So we'd like to even expand on that. So this is not just going to be a 101. This is going to be the next step of how to use a digital classroom that we're there. But we're also there to provide support. If you're getting an observation, if you have questions about standards, if you're not sure where to find things, feel free to reach out to us and we'll be able to help you with that through the Teacher Center. Again, if there's a Teacher Center site in your school, use that as your go-to place to get some resources and information that you might need. We also are giving a lot of workshops, and we know during this time, and I hate to bring into a negative piece, but many of our students are having a lot of behavior issues because they haven't been in the schools. We're going to be providing and have been providing management workshops. So if there are some things that you'd like to improve in your own management or get some other skills that you might not be as familiar with, please jump on and attend any of those workshops that we have. We also have a partnership with Apple. So if you're using Apple products, and many of our K-2 teachers that are on here are using the iPad right now to finish up their Acadians, or they should have finished last week. But if you are interested in learning more about Apple, we're giving those workshops, especially for those of you that might be new, but not so new, that you need your CTLE credits. We'll provide them through them. And some are at charge, some there are a fee for, and some are free. So we would love to see you in our workshops, but I also want to share with you two little tips. On the DOE Info Hub, There's plenty of information on there in terms of lessons that have already been vetted and approved by the Department of Ed. But even more so, log on to the AFT, which is your national union, American Federation of Teachers, and make sure that you sign up for Share My Lesson. Share My Lessons has lessons ready, and they also have them for a variety of topics, a variety of age groups, and across disciplines that you may want to jump on so that you can easily pull up a lesson that has been vetted by a professional curriculum writer and try to use that on your own. Obviously, just as Michael said, you don't follow the lesson from beginning to end exactly as it was planned, but it will save you a lot of time. And if you are like me, when I was a first-year teacher, a lot of crying at night when you have those charts out on your living room wall and your dining room table, and you have, I was kindergarten, cutting and pasting going on. There's a lot of this that's already pre-done so that at least you can get your foot moving and you can feel a little more grounded as you continue to go through your first few years of teaching. But anything you need, and if there's a workshop at your particular school that you have a number of new members there that you'd like us to present on, feel free to reach out to Karen, reach out to myself, and we're happy to provide that for your school. So I look forward to meeting all of you in person as the years go on. And thank you, Karen, for having me. But it was yesterday that we were on the new teacher committee, Karen. What happened? What happened?
Just yesterday, Mary, just yesterday. Thank you so much for joining us. So you all, this is a lot of information and we totally understand that. So periodically, we're going to keep dropping in the chart, in the chat as people show up. There is an anchor slide there. And in that anchor slide, there's some contact info on how to reach us, because I know we can't answer every question. And then we have people working behind the scenes that are answering your questions in the chat. Some questions may be a little bit more detailed, so please reach out to us via this anchor slide. And we're also going to drop the agenda back in the chat so that you will see where we are and what's next to come. So without further ado, I want to introduce you to Nadine Reese. And you all, Nadine has a mouthful of a title. Nadine, I don't think you ever sleep. You can't, because I think you spend all of your days working. So Nadine is our Director of Certification and Licensing Services, as well as the Office of Personnel, Payroll, and Special Projects. So you do a whole lot of jobs and you wear a whole lot of hats for the union. And we needed to have you here today because we are constantly getting questions about courses, right? And so that was Mary addressing that. And then, but we also get lots of questions around certification, licensing, and salary. And I know that this won't be enough time, but you're going to touch on some topics in those three areas. And then we will certainly give people a means of how to reach back out, because I'm sure there'll be more questions. But thank you for giving us this little bit of a teaser today for our new members. Take it away, Nadine.
It's my pleasure. Thanks so much for inviting me. And it's really great to be here. I'm really happy to talk about or touch on some important topics. They may be kind of complicated. I might just seem to be skating over the surface of them, but don't worry, it's not the last that you're going to hear about these topics, and we're here to support you. So with each of my little sections, I'm going to give you some resources. And of course, yeah, I am more than happy to talk to members. I love talking to members. So I have a little Post-it on my computer telling me to slow down because I tend to talk really quickly. So my first topic, New York State certification. So that's your credential to work in New York State public schools. Without that credential, you cannot be in a public school anywhere in New York State. You can hold multiple certificates. So a lot of people have a joint program. Well, now a lot of people, I'm talking about teachers, so sorry about that. So a lot of teachers will have multiple certificates. They'll have a Gen Ed, they'll have a Students with Disabilities, they'll have an ESL certification, and they'll have a classroom certification, birth to 2, 1 to 6, etc. So you can hold multiple of these certificates, and that represents what you can be teaching in public schools. And there are basically two types of certificates. And by that, I mean there are entry level and advanced. So whatever your title is, you start out at an entry level. There are things that you need to do to get to your advanced. So you know that you have an entry level certificate if you have an expiration date. If you have an expiration date, you need to know what you have to do to get your advanced certificate. and you need to apply on the New York State Department of Education website, Teach Online Services, well before that expiration date. And so what do I mean by well before that expiration date? It can take 6 months for the state to process an application. And we are doing advocacy on your behalf with the state ed department, also with our affiliate, your affiliate, NICET, the state union of teachers, to work with the state education department and find out why it's taking so long to process these and what we can do to assist you, to assist them. We're here to help whoever we can in whatever way, because ultimately we want to make sure that you're getting the certification that you need to remain in your position. So advanced certificates don't expire, but they have to be maintained. I'm talking about professional certificates and level 3 certificates. And if you hold them, you need to do 100 hours of continuing teacher and leader education, the CTLE that Mary was talking about. And you need to do that every 5 years in a 5-year registration cycle. So we just sent out some information about that, and maybe some of you are holding those certificates. If you're here for 3 years, you might have come with experience, but most of you might be the entry level certificate. So again, most important date in your life is that certificate's expiration date. Now, resources. We have certification specialists in our call center. So I'm sure you have that number. I'm sure it's in the resources. That's the 212-331-6311 number. We have certification specialists ready to answer any of your questions. And we have ed liaisons who make school visits. So your chapter leader will put up notices about your chapter leader meetings. I used to put them on the mirrors in the bathroom because I knew everybody had to go to the bathroom, so they would see them. So it's really important that you attend those. I would put up topics so you can pick and choose, perhaps, or if you see anything with an ed liaison coming, run, don't walk, go to that meeting. So in New York City, in our municipality,
Excuse me one moment. They're asking for you to put your volume up just a little bit.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh my
God. Oh, I'm so sorry. My microphone was over my head. I was afraid I was muted, and I was afraid I was going to say something while Michael Mulgrew was talking, or Mary or you. I'm so sorry, guys.
It's okay. We're good now. Thank you.
Okay. Sorry. So your state certificate, as I was saying, is your credential to teach in New York State public schools. In New York City, we are all assigned a license appointment code. So ideally, that matches what you're certified in and what you're doing in schools, and that leads to a smooth tenure track. I was just talking to a member today who's been teaching special ed ever since he was appointed, and he didn't know it. He was appointed under a gen ed license, so now that has to be corrected. So really, it's in your career, just being proactive is a really, really good thing. Seek out the information, make sure that your license appointment code matches what you're certified in and what you're actually teaching in the classroom. You can hold only one active license appointment at a time. You can hold multiple state certificates, but you're appointed in one license area in New York City, and that's what you're on track to tenure under. There are different license appointment codes that correspond to most state certificates. If you agree at some point, you're going to have a long, illustrious career. If you agree at some point that you'd like to teach another area, you're going to be reappointed under a new license appointment code, and that's going to start you with a new probationary period. Now, in New York State, the law says your first probationary period is 4 years and a day from date of appointment, and there is something called traveling tenure. So once you are tenured in one license, if you're appointed under a new one, it's shortened by a year, 3 years and a day in your new area. So now you've got possibly 2 licenses that you're tenured under, but again, you're working in one at a time, achieving tenure in that one. And tenure, what is tenure? Tenure is a recognition of your status as a professional. It affords you significant protections as you advocate for what's best for your students. And as I said before, don't be passive. So here's an area that you really can't be passive about. Reach out to your principal or your supervisor, especially the teachers out there. Make sure that you know what the expectations are, because at the end, you want to be granted the tenure. Tenure can be extended, tenure can be denied. So you want to make sure that you're doing everything in your power to get that tenure granted. And there are touch points along the way, your observations, your conversations, And don't be afraid to, ask the principal, how am I doing? I know that there's something called tenure. I used to joke that when I was appointed many, many years ago, I would see the principal at the end of the hallway and kind of, try to sidestep the other way, but you can't do that now. You have to make sure that you're actively engaged. Paras don't go through the tenure process, and other titles have a different process. So sometimes the functional chapter leaders will have a tenure workshop. Be sure that you're attending those. Resources. There are tenure workshops offered in borough offices, offered in districts, and virtually now. So make sure that you are finding out about those. On our uft.org website, there's a calendar. I'm telling myself, slow down. Your chapter leader is informed if there's going to be a tenure workshop in the district, so make sure that you're checking in with the chapter leader. We have people that their title is educational liaison. They make school visits. They're available in their boroughs when they're not doing school visits, and they can assist you with questions in this area: certification, tenure, and licensure. I'm going to touch on salary. So, did I get everybody's attention with that one? So first year members, you would have received a welcome email that gave you a link to apply for a step placement and a differential. So that is for teachers and also our paraprofessionals and other titles. You would apply for the same sort of differential. It looks different. For teachers, if you go to teachers, it looks different for members on different titles. You can go to our website, uft.org. You can take a look at the salary schedule for your title. So in that welcome email, make sure that you click the link and you logged into the salary application system. And so one question, somebody has already alluded to the length of time that it takes to process. So yes, it does take 5 months. It used to be 4 months. It's now up to 5 months for your salary step and your differential to be processed. So the good news is once it's processed, it'll be backdated. If you apply within 6 months of your hire date, again, if you're hired new this year, within 6 months of your hire date, it'll be backdated to your first day of school. If you are applying after the last credit that you received, make sure that you're applying within 6 months of getting that last credit. It will be backdated to the term corresponding to the completion date of your last class. A step placement gives you credit for any experience inside or outside of the Department of Education, but you should apply for a step even if you have no other experience, so your salary advances properly. And a differential is credits that you received above a bachelor's degree. Okay, so your resources for that, you have a payroll secretary in your building. So I used to make sure that my payroll secretary was very happy. I would bring her a cup of coffee, a pack of gum, or simply just saying hello, how are you doing? So your payroll secretary is a great resource. There are salary specialists in our call center. And again, that number is 212-331-6311. And I'm sure that it's in the chat. Read member update. You can subscribe to our emails. We really don't send an abundance of emails. We're very strategic, I guess is how I should put it. So I'm always reaching out to the communications department. Can we send this? Can we send that? Can we send that? No, we can't, because we can't exhaust everybody. So we are very strategic in what we send out. So make sure that you're subscribed to our emails. Read that member update. It's another email that you can get. Your chapter leader gets a chapter leader update, so you can touch base with the chapter leader. The chapter leader is a great resource in your building. We have a publication called New York Teacher. Make sure you're reading that. Towards the back, there are usually articles for newer teachers to keep you on track. And again, go to your chapter leader meetings. So I was going to touch on something related to salary, a little bit of a bonus, and I titled that Time Off. What, already? So you may or may not know, you accumulate days in your bank, the carryover absence reserve. These are sick days. We earn a day a month. It is banked for us if we don't use it. There is a difference between self-treated and medically certified. Self-treated, I wake up, I'm not feeling so well. I notify my school and I go in the next day and I'm fine. I don't necessarily see the doctor, so I don't have a doctor's note. There are different rules depending on your title for the use of self-treated days and how many that you can take. So be sure to touch base and find out what the rules are for your title. Medically certified sick days, sometimes we wake up and it is, we've been feeling bad over the weekend, so we want to make a doctor's appointment. We get a note from the doctor that we give to the payroll secretary, and they can code your day as medically certified. If you need a leave of absence, there are different leaves and different rules for each title. If you log into Solace, the self-service online leave application system, it will show you the leaves that you are eligible for based on your title. So leaves applied for in Solace take about 30 days to process, and they require service. Again, that goes to the rules for the leaves. So sometimes we know in advance and sometimes we don't. But just make sure that you're touching base with the payroll secretary on more resources. We have leave specialists right here at our call center, 212-331-6311. We spend a lot of time training them to make sure that they have the best information. So you can reach out to them. Your payroll secretary is a resource. There's information on the DOE and UFT websites, and there are personnel reps and other leave specialists in the borough offices, and they'll be making school visits as well. So again, attend the chapter leader meetings, especially looking for topics that are of interest to you. And that is my wisdom to share with you today.
My goodness, you got a lot accomplished in a very small time frame. So thank you. And I just have to repeat again that there are educational liaisons in every borough that can certainly assist with certification and licensure questions, as well as salary reps in all of our boroughs that can certainly assist. And Nadine said it perfectly. In your school buildings, there is a chapter leader there, and certainly reach out to your chapter leader, because that person can always help to get you to the right person if you're not sure who to ask for your question. So Nadine, thank you so much. And there are some questions in the Q&A. So if you have some time, if you can do some of those answers, and we will certainly get some to you as they'll come in after, I'm sure, as the event goes on. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
So you all, we did a poll a little bit earlier, but I'm going to hold the results for a bit because I really want you to hear from Rashad Brown. So when I walked out, I had quite a few loans under my belt, and I thought, my goodness, how am I going to survive on my salary and paying student loans? And Rashad, you're here to fix all that.
I hope so. Yes, I
I'm
remember.
turn the mic over to Rashad Brown, and he's going to talk to you about our loan forgiveness program and our legal services, which are for UFT members. You must be a member. So for UFT members, Rashad has a wealth of information for you. Take it away, Rashad.
Thank you, Karen. So, I remember, like Karen did, walking out of college with a lot of debt. And I didn't know how I was going to ever stop paying, for those loans. Well, thankfully to the UFT, we have this program now where we have webinars every week, Tuesdays and Saturdays, for you to attend. Tuesdays in the evening at 6 p.m. for those that have a very busy day, right? And then on Saturdays at like 9:30 in the morning. So you can come to the webinar online, listen to what they have to say. And once you complete that, you then get an opportunity to talk one-on-one with one of the loan specialists. And they will go through your situation and help you to determine whether the program is right for you. And they will then help set up a plan to get you to get out of debt. I mean, totally out of debt. And, I don't like to advertise something unless I try it myself. A couple of years ago, I owed like maybe $20,000. Today, $500 is all I owe. That is it. So we have, and that's all because you're UFT members. You have this at your fingertips. We have the Federal Public Service Loan Forgiveness Program, and we also have the Title I Forgiveness Program. Based on certain areas, certain licenses, they get different amounts of monies off. Like I said, the workshops are twice a week. We do every other Tuesdays and every Saturday unless there's a holiday weekend or the Tuesday falls on a weekend. And now the AFT just released some information about, we had a settlement from the Weingarten versus DeVos case, which was AFT versus the U.S. Department of Education, and we were able to settle. And all those people who originally applied and got denied, they have the opportunity to get their case re-examined and to determine what is the best route for them. If you guys have more questions about that, you guys can reach out to us at the student debt relief at uft.org. Student debt relief at uft.org. The other thing I want to mention to you guys is the legal plan. As a member, and I mean, if it wasn't because of me, I'm biased, but I would definitely be a member if I wasn't already, after hearing everything that I've heard so far. But with the legal plan, we have Feldman, Kramer, and Monaco, which are a national attorney's office that we use, and you have the right to free attorney services as a UFT member. Some of the things that they do, they will answer legal questions, write letters, they will review your leases or your other important documents, they prepare wills and estates, and they provide legal representation for other matters. With that also, you get unlimited telephone, legal letters, and document review, as I said before, free of charge. There are fees for certain services that are a little bit more complex, but they are at a fairly high discounted rate for UFT members. The plan covers not only you as a UFT member, but it also covers your spouse or your domestic partner, as well as your children if they are unmarried and they're under the age of 19, or they can be under 25 if they're wholly dependent upon the plan, upon you, for support and maintenance, and they're enrolled as a full-time student. So this is all this is all yours if the price is right, right? If you are interested in the legal plan, you want to reach out to the call center, but we have a special line for that. It's 212-331-6325. That's 212-331-6325. And if you have any questions about the legal plan or the student debt relief, you can email me at rbrown1@uft.org, and I would be glad to help you. And Karen, I turn it back over to you.
So Rashad, thank you for all that you do. And Rashad, guess what? I can't tell them yet, but after Joe Usach speaks, they're going to hear from a special team.
Oh, I'm staying around. I'm listening.
Okay, stay around. So Joe Usach. Joe is our assistant director at the UFT Welfare Fund. Joe, thank you for managing the chat. And as you can see, there are already a host of questions for you. And what the heck is the Welfare Fund and what do we do? Turning it over to you, Joe.
Thank you so much, Karen. I'm going to share my screen. I have a small presentation for you. Let's see. Can you guys see that?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. So, excellent. Okay, so there are two organizations that provide our members health benefits. The first is New York City. So our employer, New York City, or the Department of Education, provides our major medical. These benefits are negotiated by all the unions in the city, all the cops, the firemen, sanitation workers, sewage treatment. I can go on forever. There's over 100 municipal labor unions that negotiate benefits together. Our new members that start on or after July 1st, 2019, have to take the HIP HMO product for the first 365 days of work. So if you began work on September 9th and you enrolled yourself in HIP, September 9th of next year, there will be a special open enrollment period for you and you alone. And you will have the option of moving into any one of the 10 other products that are available to you. All 10 city health plans are up on our website, and you can see a compare-contrast chart. However, to make it easier, the two most popular plans by all city workers, not just school teachers, I'm talking about 1.1 million city workers, and there are over 1.2 million dependents. The two most popular plans are GHI CBP and HIP HMO. Both of these products are Emblem Health products, so they both fall under the umbrella of Emblem Health, but they are the most popular. And the reason is They are very comprehensive and they are premium free. You don't hear that very often in this country, premium free health benefits. Because of our union negotiations, we are afforded the option of having premium free health benefits. Now, my wife works for an insurance company like Aetna, like Emblem, like Empire. And she is on my insurance as opposed to all of us being on hers, keeping in mind she works for the insurance company. She works for the carrier. And if we were on her insurance, we would pay a little bit over $600 for our family plan, which is really completely reasonable in this country. But it's not reasonable for us, for city workers. We believe that we deserve better, and we use our voices at a collective bargaining table to make sure that we have that dignity. Now, the other organization that provides your benefits is the UFT Welfare Fund. And you can see a list of benefits that we provide, and that's not all encompassing. There's actually more benefits that we provide. Before I move on, I want to address some issues that are going on at the Department of Education. The Department of Education is having some major processing issues. So if you've registered for benefits and you have not been granted them, it's probably because it hasn't been processed. In the event that you don't have benefits, if you applied certainly in September and you don't have them by the end of I would say by the end of the week, by Monday of next week, I would encourage you to call HR Connect. Now, I know it's difficult and I know it's long wait times, but I would encourage you to call them and document the time that you called. In the event that you hit a brick wall, hopefully you'll have support there, but in the event that you hit a brick wall, call the welfare fund's general number, let them know that you're having an issue with your city health coverage, and we will make a case, and one of our member service reps will reach out to you, grab your paperwork, forward it to New York City, and try to have it processed immediately. Now, just stepping back to the other organization that provides your benefits is the UFT Welfare Fund. Now, most unions in the city, all municipal labor unions, have their own welfare fund, and the fund's trustees decide how these benefits are going to be provided. So I'm going to go over with you very quickly what these benefits are and how to access them. And I mean lightning speed. So this is our website. On our website, you can update your information. You can enroll in our health benefits. You can add a spouse, add children, remove a divorced spouse, which you have to do upon getting the divorce decree, because you don't want us paying for benefits for someone who's not entitled to them, because then the carrier, HIP, Emblem, the welfare fund, we need to go to the member to collect the money. So if you get divorced, we got to know about it. The UFT Welfare Fund provides dental. We have two different dental plans. The one that you're automatically enrolled in is the scheduled benefit plan. If you go on our website and you click right here, you can see all the information related to dental. We have a book of providers. If you call anyone in that book, any endodontist, orthodontist, periodontist, oral surgeon, we got all the boys and girls in the book. If you find someone in there, look them up online. If you like the results that you're pulling, call them up. I have UFT Welfare Fund insurance. I want to make an appointment. If they're in our book, they're going to know what the insurance is. Get your teeth cleaned every 3 months on me, please, because if you get your teeth cleaned every 3 months on me, meaning no co-payment, if you go in network, it's going to lower the amount of cavities you have, and we're going to be able to continue providing these benefits to you. So again, you and your family are entitled to 4 cleanings a year, once every 3 months, and we definitely recommend with no co-payment to go to an in-service provider. Now, Karen Alford says to me, you know what, Joe, I've been going to the same dentist for the last 10 years and I like her the best and I won't let anyone else touch my teeth. And she's not in the book. And what are you going to do for me? So here's what I'm going to do for you, Karen. You're going to walk into your non-participating dental office. You're going to ask the dentist, how much is it to clean your teeth? The dentist is going to say somewhere between $90 and $120. And you're going to, because you like that dentist so much, you're going to pay the bill. Then you're going to file for reimbursement, and I'm going to send you a check for $45, which is the maximum allowance column. It's also listed on our dental schedule. And so the point is that this dental program has both in and out of network benefits. If you go in network, look at the dental schedule. A cleaning is no copay. An exam is a 15 every every 6 months they can do that, a $15 copay. But if you decide that you want to go out of network, meaning not to one of our dentists, but to your own, who's not one of our participants, you can, and we will pay you, no surprises. The maximum allowance column on the dental schedule is what you will be reimbursed if you choose to go out of network. If you have questions about it, call the welfare fund. I got questions about dental. We also have a dental HMO plan that you can opt into. I believe that it's closing on the 31st. It's called Dent Care. It is a dental HMO. It means that if you want to go to an orthodontist, you have to first get a referral from a dentist, but there are no copayments with the program. So your kid, you can have braces, zero copayment. So now the next question that Karen asks is, Joe, I'm a new teacher. What plan is better? It's not what plan is better. It's what's better for your family. Do you want a far less restrictive plan with copayments? That's the scheduled benefit plan, meaning you can go to an orthodontist, endodontist, periodontist, any dentist that you want at any time without any referrals, but you will have applicable copayments. Or you can take the dental HMO plan, have a strict plan, but zero copayments. Have more questions, call the welfare fund. We have a bunch of member service, claims and eligibility reps. Everyone will be here to answer questions about dental. Almost there. Optical, you and everyone listed on your coverage are entitled to an optical benefit once every 2 years. If you're getting glasses and you go in our network, you get a free eye exam, $125 towards the glasses. And if you go in network, meaning to one of our providers, and that information is online, you get an additional $100 discount, an additional 10% discount. All of it's online. You can check your eligibility right here, gvsuft.com. There is no certificates. A reminder to our panel, we're very happy about this. We've come out of the archaic times and into the correct century. And there is no more voucher or certificate that you need to request. You check your eligibility. If you go to our providers, they'll take the money off at the point of service. If you choose to go out of network, Costco, Warby Parker, you just upload the information on the website and they'll pay you back $125 of the cost of the glasses, whatever's cheaper, in less than 2 weeks, which is another thing that we're very proud of. Our processing used to take 6 to 8 weeks. Our executive director wasn't happy with that and said that the members need the money as fast as possible. So we are down to less than 14 days. All right, flagship of the UFT Welfare Fund. UFT Welfare Fund provides unlimited prescription drugs. I'm going to repeat that, unlimited prescription drugs. Most drug plans in the country have caps, meaning if your family spends $100,000, $50,000, whatever the amount is, then they cut you off. Not here at UFT Welfare Fund. Your family needs $1 million in prescription drugs. We will make sure that they get them. Now, there's a lot of nuance here. I have 3 clinical pharmacists that work for, that work for the UFT Welfare Fund. But more importantly, being part of a fraternal organization means that they work for you. And they happen to be 3 men. They are your brothers here at the Welfare Fund. If you have a clinical drug issue, your job is not to call Express Scripts, the number on the back of your card. You call the Welfare Fund. My name is, I'm a brand new teacher. I have a clinical drug issue and I need to speak to one of the 3 pharmacists. They will make a case. They will send it. If the pharmacist is available to answer the phone, Glenn, Tim, or Mike will pick up that phone. If they are not, it will be cased to them and they will get back to you in typically less than 12 hours. And if it's an emergency, make sure you get on the phone and tell them it's a dire emergency and they will get you over there. Now, quickly, check this out. We have 2 different types of drugs at the fund. Acute medicine, something you're going to be on for a short period of time, and maintenance medicine, something you're going to be on for a long period of time or the rest of your life. So if you're getting an acute medicine, generic Lipitor, generic Z-Pak, $5, preferred brand antibiotic acute medicine, $15, non-preferred brand, $35. Our generics, preferred brands, and non-preferred brands are on our website. It's in our formulary. Print it, call us, ask us for a copy, bring it to the doctor, give it to the doctor and tell them, hey, doc, give my kid a generic off the list. Give me a generic off the list, and you could save yourself $10. Now, we allow you to get maintenance medicine at the local pharmacy 3 times, 3 30-day fills. But after that, we mandate. So if you're on Lipitor for cholesterol or Tenormin for your heart or whatever the medication is that you're going to be on forever or a long period, you get 3 months at the local pharmacy. And then if you went back to the local pharmacy, they're going to say you're rejected. How could my union reject? Well, we're not rejecting. We're saying that we can't give you a 30-day supply. Call your doctor, tell them to put a 90-day supply. Tell her to send it to Express Scripts, home delivery, so you can get it in the mail. And if you don't like that option, which 50% of our members did not like that option, you can have it go to a local Duane Reade or Walgreens, and you can pick it up at the exact same copay as if it came in the mail. Keep in mind, the amount of drugs is tripling and the copayment is only doubling. Now, last thing on this, and then I'm going to stop. There's a lot of nuance with drugs. The UFT Welfare Fund, when you register for our benefits on our website, we will send you a drug card and we will cover 80% of the drugs that you would get. There is a plan called the PICA plan. You get this card when you enroll in your HIP coverage. This PICA card covers injectables and chemotherapy drugs. So if you need an EpiPen and you give them your welfare fund card, it's going to reject. The reason isn't because we don't cover it. I mean, the fund doesn't cover it because we know that there's another entity that does. So with the PICA card, there's a $100 deductible and the applicable copay. You pick up EpiPen the first time in a calendar year, you'll pay $110. And any time in the calendar year after that, you pay only the copayment. There are some drugs that you get from the based on state and federal law. You get some of your medication from the healthcare provider, from HIP. This includes diabetic medicine, birth control, colonoscopy prep medicine, opioid dependent medicine. So all of this to say what? When you guys get to your pharmacy, try to go to a Duane Reade or Walgreens and give them 3 cards: your PICA card, your welfare fund card, and your city health benefit card. And when the pharmacist says that rejected, say, put it against the other coverage. And they go, that rejected. Goes, there's a third one, put it against there. And they go, oh, it went through. And you go, great. Okay. Last thing is this. In addition to all the benefits I just explained, which are premium free, there are also some programs that you can enroll in with our state affiliate, which is NICET. A lot of different benefits. Before I throw this at you, become accustomed with ours. And then at some point you can reach out to NICET and find out what offers them and the national affiliate AFT have. In closing, I'm just going to say this. My mother, many years ago in the 70s, got a job at Nassau County Medical Center, and she worked there for 1 year. And she left Nassau County Medical Center and decided to go and be a nurse at Mercy Hospital because the salary was so much higher. And about 15 years ago, she was nearing the end of what she thought was nearing the end of their career. And she said to me, Joe, I'm going to retire 30 years from Mercy Hospital, and I have no health benefits upon retirement. And I looked at her completely shocked. And I said, wait a second, Ma, you have spent 31 years, 30 years at Mercy, 1 year at Nassau, helping sick people, and now you're going to retire and the hospital doesn't give you health benefits? And she goes, no, I don't know what your father and I are going to do. So I said, oh man. At the same time, I was very heavily involved as a chapter leader, learning about pensions. So I said, you know what, Ma, I think your union, CSEA, you worked for the county. Well, let's call them. Let's find out. We call CSEA, not CSA. I don't want to be confused. CSEA. And they said, yeah, Alma, you worked with us 30 years ago. If you do 5 consecutive years, you'll be re-enrolled in Tier 2, and you'll have health benefits upon retirement. My mom, long story longer, but really quick, my mom then decided to do 10 full years. So 10 years plus 1 is 11, as opposed to 30 years. The pension is significantly higher, and I'm talking to the tune of like $500 a month more, even with all those less years. And her and my father will never be a burden on my sister or me, because they have the dignity of health benefits in retirement. And you deserve nothing less. If you didn't listen to anything I said, and I certainly wouldn't have listened to anything I said, if you have any issues with your health benefits, you got to call the UFT Welfare Fund. I'm going to go through the Q&As, and I'll do my very best to answer everything now. Thank you so much for having me.
Joe, we did listen, and I thank you for keeping us all healthy. Thank you so much.
A true pleasure.
So I said to Rashad earlier that we had another little teaser for you all. Rashad and a group of us have been working really hard on this, and it can be very overwhelming to be a newer member. And so we want you to be able to breathe and let your hair down a little bit. So let us show you and give you a sneak preview of something to come. Steve, can you show the video, please?
Hello, UFT members and friends. My name is Kia Clark, and I have the privilege and honor to be the CEO of your New York Liberty. We are incredibly excited to be planning with you an extra special night at the Barclays Center, watching the New York Liberty players this upcoming summer. We know it's been a tough couple of school years, and we cannot wait to celebrate your service to this community and the next generation. See you in Brooklyn.
Hey UFC, my name is Benajah Laney, and I'm a guard for the New York Liberty. I would like to personally thank each and every one of you for all of the hard work and dedication that you bring to the students day in and day out. I can say that teachers and educators have played a significant role in my life and helped me get to where I am now. So again, just thank you. And I hope that you can come and see me and my teammates this 22 season in the Barclays Center.
"2022, we will be there, and we will make sure that you all have tickets so that you will be there with us, celebrating and taking a deep breath. Without further ado, I would like to introduce you all to Deborah Penny. And Debbie is our UFT treasurer, and she's going to tell you a little bit more about all of the benefits and the dignity that Joe was talking about, retiring with dignity. Thanks, Deb.
Oh, sure. Sure. You put me after the New York Liberty. Well, let me tell you, I have something better than New York Liberty. I have a pension. So hi, everyone. I know you're exhausted. You spent a whole day in school and you are like ready for dinner. So I will make this quick and easy. So yeah, I am the treasurer. I'm also chairman of the Board of Teachers Retirement System. So me and my department is all things pension. In my department, we have 3 trustees. I'm a trustee. Tom Brown, David Kazansky, we're the trustees. We work for the union, and we're also at TRS a couple of times a day, managing the pension, watching the investments. We also have Frank Panabianco and Victoria Lee, who also work for us. You'll find the pension department also in your borough office. So what is a pension? When I was little, my grandmother said, oh, be a teacher, you'll get a pension like Sally Marlowe. And I said, I don't know what a pension is. A pension is a defined benefit, which means you will work during your career. You will contribute a small amount. You'll start off with 3%, goes a little bit higher. You're something called tier 6, goes up to almost 5%. But that amount will go into your qualified pension plan. A lot of names here today, right? The city will contribute. And at the end of your career, you will have a pension for the rest of your life. Absolutely amazing. A lot of information, right? 2 things. If you are a teacher, a school secretary, a guidance counselor, a social worker, or a paraprofessional, you are going to be part of Teachers Retirement System. And by now, you probably received a letter in the mail welcoming you and asking you to go online to their secure website. Paraprofessionals, listen carefully. You are not automatically part of the pension plan. You must actively go on to TRS, Teachers Retirement System website, and join. If you are a school nurse, an occupational therapist, or a physical therapist, you are part of BERS, Board of Ed Retirement System. Works the same. You contribute money, a small amount of money, you work really hard, then you get a pension. Your pension is based on the number of years you work and what your salary is. You make more money, you have a higher pension. You work longer, you have a higher pension. But relax, I know you're saying, well, we're ready for that pension now. You have to be age 55, okay? Age 55 to collect a pension. So a lot of information you might have if you are one of those people who I said automatically becomes part of the pension plan. You'll know that you're officially in because you received that letter, you filled out the forms, and on your check, there's a little number on the left-hand side that says 414H. It could say TRS 414H, or it says BERS 414H. And that means they're starting to take out your contributions. Okay, since I knew it was late and I knew I was kind of at the end of the schedule, what I did was I scheduled pension Zooms for our new members. So write this down. On November 23rd and November 30th, you can pick either one, November 23rd or November 30th, from 4 to 5 o'clock, we are having a new member Zoom, okay, all about pensions. Just pensions. So try to go to those. A lot of information when it comes to pension. Look at, if you have a chance, go on the UFT website, Google pension in there. You'll find a lot of information that we put. Every New York teacher, every time you get the New York teacher, there's something called securing your benefits in there. And we try to put some information. If you're part of TRS, go on that website. They have a plethora of information for you to read about. The same thing with Board of Ed Retirement System. But probably at this hour, the best thing I could tell you is join us on the 23rd or the 30th for a new member pension Zoom, and we will go over everything with you. Have your pen and paper, have a glass of wine or a glass of water, and relax. Okay, so I will see you soon. Call the pension department if you have any questions, and have a good evening, everyone.
Deb, thank you so much for offering those sessions. And
Sure.
you're right, it's a lot of information, and that would be a wonderful space just to be able to take it all in and really be able to absorb the information. So thank you so much for all the work you do.
If there's one thing people could know now is that we're very passionate about what we did. So after I looked at the schedule and I saw all the people, I said, oh, there's no way they're going to be able to absorb pension at this point. So happy to do that, Karen. Thank you.
You're welcome. Have a great evening.
You too.
And last but certainly not least, I wanted to bring to you Tina Puccio. And Tina is our Director of UFT Member Assistance Program. We know how overwhelming, really, this career can be. And folks say, you just work with kids all day. But folks don't realize how much of your whole self that you put into what you do. And sometimes you need someone to talk to. And so, Tina, would you tell us a little bit about what our Member Assistance Program is and how we're there to support everyone on this Zoom?
Sure. And thanks for putting me last, Karen. Really appreciate it.
Because Tina, when we're overwhelmed and we don't know what to do, math is sometimes our last resort. Hon, I just need you to raise your volume just a little bit.
Me? Okay, sure. Is that better?
Yes, it is.
Great. Hi, everyone. It's nice to be here. Thank you for having me, Karen. I'm Tina Puccio, and as Karen mentioned, I am the Director of the Member Assistance Program at the UFT. I've been listening in to what everyone has been talking about, and I'm in agreement with one thing, that the last 18 months of our lives have been, to say the least, just incredibly challenging. And so the first thing I want to say to the new members is thank you. Thank you so much for being a part of a union. Thank you so much for taking care of our children. Thank you so much for turning yourselves inside out to make it happen, because I know you have. And the reason why I know you have is because I've spoken to many of you. Many of you have called my department. Many of you have called the Member Assistance Program seeking and wanting support. Because as I've always said, you can never be who you need to be for your students. You could never be who you need to be as a school secretary or a paraprofessional or a social worker or a guidance counselor or anything else that you might be as a new member to the UFT unless you take care of yourself. And as educators, I have to say, we don't often take care of ourselves first because we are nurturing and we're oftentimes always seeking to help others. But I'm here to tell you that your union wants to also help you and be of support to you. And gratefully, back in 2008, that is exactly what Michael Mulder did. He started this member assistance program. And back then we started as a short-term counseling program. And today we've morphed into more than that. And so I'm going to share my screen and show you the things that we do. And like Deborah Penny just mentioned, and Joe, if you need additional supports, if you want more information, by all means, you could always call the office, speak with myself or any of our clinicians, and we'll be happy to support you. But I think it's important as new members just to know how much is out there for you and how much support is available to you. So let me just share my screen. And I will do that with that. Okay. So a couple of things that we do. So the member assistance program, as I mentioned, does offer individual consultations. We offer virtual support groups, wellness shops, and other online resources. If this is too much for you to take in, you could always go to the UFT website and look up member assistance program and find it all there. The one thing I'd like to highlight, in addition to calling the member assistance program, is the MAP Care line. We started the MAP Care line this school year for you to call at 212-331-6322 if you need to speak with someone immediately. What does that mean? It means you're having a rough day, a tough time for whatever reason, and you would like to just talk to somebody who can just listen to you, have an empathetic ear, and give you the ability to just vent if that's all that needs be. It's open from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m., Monday through Friday. It is only open to union members. So you will verify when you do call just that you're a union member, not anything else, and you will speak to a licensed clinician. Other things that we also offer, if you don't need to speak with someone immediately, you could always call MAP and you can start speaking with someone. We offer short-term counseling, meaning you see somebody for free, confidentially, for up to 6 sessions. We have virtual support groups that I'm going to go through in a little while. And then we also have things called wellness workshops, right? So we have things like Let's Talk About It, which I'm going to go into in a minute. Something new that we found is really necessary right now, just based off of what we've been hearing, is Shattering the Stigma. It's a substance use series of psychoeducational workshops for members to come to learn more about, and I'll share additional resources there for you. Trauma and stress education, it's a wonderful 6-week informative practice, which is exactly that. It's the ability for you to participate and learn how to deal with the 18 months that we've just experienced. You learn coping mechanisms, you're able to share. It's a small, intimate group setting. If you can, and I would encourage you to, please download the Classroom Cafe. It's a podcast brought to you by the Member Assistance Program. Tons of great brewing conversations on many, many things, like time management, like how to be a classroom teacher, mindfulness, meditation, things of that nature, nutrition. Like I mentioned, there's other online resources as well. I want to talk a little bit more about our groups. So the types of groups that are all virtual, by the way, that we offer to, again, only Member Assistance Program UFT members. There's been a lot of grief and loss, even before the pandemic. Schools, and as you know, you might have experienced it already, just experience loss daily. If you watch the news, I'm sure many of you will know. So we do offer a grief and loss group. Taming the volcano. The pandemic brought on a lot of stress, plenty of overwhelm, and people have a lot of feelings around it. So Taming the Volcano is a great 3-week program of small group where you can just come in and talk about those feelings with a licensed clinician and other colleagues around you. Navigating the waves together is essentially that. There's been low and high tides. People are still trying to figure out how to journey through all this uncertainty that we've been going on. Again, a 3-week program. I've been running it myself. We've had about 10 to 12 people on it each week who just come together and share, learn skills, share skills, but most importantly, are really building personal resiliency with one another. And lastly, we run a weekly recovery group. So this is for members who are currently in recovery, seeking to connect with other members, join a conversation, share experiences, and just get together to strengthen their recovery together. Let's talk about it. Let's Talk About It is a wellness series that we started last year. Members requested, especially new members, were just requesting an opportunity to come together and just kind of learn coping skills and healing skills on a personal life and professional life. So this year's topics include, this one just finished, Free to be Stress-Free. It was a great topic. We did some breath work and meditation. The next one coming up is on time management, and other topics this school year will be financial well-being, assertive communication, nutrition and exercise, preventing burnout, and letting go. If you would love, and I would recommend you do, if you'd like to register for any of these, which are free by the way, please just go to the website and you can register there from the website. And then lastly, and I'm just going to move this over, just wanted to go over something that I feel is very important. Many members don't talk about, but it has affected people. It continues to affect people. And it's something that our union, the Member Assistance Program, has supported people through. So if you or someone you know has been experiencing substance use issues, whether they are in recovery, whether they are just starting their journey to recovery, whether you are affected by it, please know that you're not alone. Please call the Member Assistance Program. We have a licensed clinician who specializes in working with family members and members. And her name is Janice Acosta. She just started Shattering the Stigma. She really felt that it was very important to normalize the conversation. Normalize the conversation around people who are struggling with this addiction. And so again, if you're interested in learning more about it, if you're interested in learning anything about codependency and substance use, please go to the website and register for our next Shattering the Stigma. And then two last things that I wanted to talk to you about. As Joe, I believe, mentioned, and as others have mentioned, we've also joined with the AFT. And you should know that the AFT offers a trauma counseling unit. It's an excellent unit. It offers licensed clinicians that will give you up to 3 months of free clinical counseling. If you are interested in doing so, and I know how hard it's been for people to get an appointment with a psychotherapist who takes GHI these days, because everyone is so overwhelmed, please call the Member Assistance Program at 212-701-9620. Ask to speak with a licensed clinician, and we will refer you to the AFT Trauma Counseling Unit, and you will be able to get 3 months of free counseling that is confidential. And one last thing for my social workers and licensed mental health counselors who are on. I know you've heard about CTLE, and I know you've heard about the Teacher Center and everything else. Well, MAP has joined with Learn UFT. And in the last 3 years, we've become state providers for continuing education units for social workers and licensed mental health counselors. We are in the process of applying to become providers for psychologists as well. We are happy to provide a course calendar with many great clinical professional developments, things like hoarding, eating disorders, domestic violence, depression, suicide, crisis intervention, and many other things. So if you are a clinician that is watching, please take advantage of these very low cost, great titles. Go onto the website and take a look at what's coming up. They are all virtual and available to you. Again, the phone number to the Member Assistance Program, should you want more information, is 212-701-9620. If you don't want to speak with anyone, you could email mapinfo@uft.org. Thank you so much again for all of your contributions, and thanks, Karen, for having me this evening.
Tina, thank you so much for all that you and your team do to keep us healthy also. So, Steve, can you show our poll results? Okay. So considering the health and safety protocols, we see that most times folks feel like these protocols are being done with fidelity. We want to get that a little higher if we can, and certainly for the folks who said rarely. So what we'd like for you to do is to make sure that you're reaching out to your chapter leader, and that is your elected union official in your buildings, and let them know, because there may be, I don't know, additional things that we can do to help support in this area. So we definitely want to get that rarely up. So please say something and let us know what's going on in your schools so that we may support you further. I hope you found this evening useful. Again, we understand that it wasn't enough to go really deep with all the topics, but we wanted you to really just see the landscape of what the UFT offers. Go to our website, make sure you're giving us a call, come visit us. The takeaway from tonight is, please know that we are wishing you well as you're embarking on your career, and we are there for you every step of the way. So we want to walk with you during your career journey. So have a wonderful evening, be well, and reach out to us. Take care, everybody.